Okay, today we're here with Drew Perry, and we're going to talk about Drew's impact on the industry here in Michigan, and also the impact of Ron, his dad, on him. So the first question I'm going to ask is, how did your dad influence you becoming a winemaker?
He obviously grew up, and it was in his background, it was in his DNA, and the reality was that he didn't necessarily push wine or the concept of wine when I was young. It was one of those things that was almost European, where it was like I grew up with it. And so they wouldn't shy away from letting me have wine at dinner, that kind of thing. And so it was always a part of my life, but in all reality, he was more horticulture focused. So it was one of those things where I was used to that concept of things, but it took a while for me to understand that there was more to this whole horticulture thing. I was always afraid to go into it, but then I found this whole other avenue. That there was something else to it. It could be artistic. You could go into this wine world that had a whole other avenue. It wasn't just about growing. It was the whole concept. So he sort of was the overall kind of inspiration for it, but it could have really gone in any direction. It's I think we're all pretty lucky it went in the right direction, but he never pushed it though. In fact, the funny thing is, I went into the program, Viticulture and Enology at Michigan State, while he was the head of horticulture. He was the chair at Michigan State University. He cut the program while I was in it. So it was one of those things where he was supportive, but it was a point where he just sat down and he just said, look, I'm going to get rid of this thing because it's not being supported on the way. We don't have enough graduates, so you need to hurry up.
You were the only graduate.
I was the only one who had completed the full program of both viticulture and enology. We had other people who did one or the other, but we had a lot of people who would go through the program and just wouldn't finish. And so I think MSU was at a point where they're just saying, this isn't worth it. And so they definitely forced his hand. And I know he always regretted that to some extent, which is why he eventually created the wine education program at Michigan State, because it was always a love of his, even though he kind of transitioned away into more cherries and apples and rootstock. But obviously his initial passion was grapes, which obviously is where you guys came in. So,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And then, so what do you see